This is Solitary Reaper Part 3, and the next stanza is like this. Will no one tell me what she sings? Perhaps the plaintive numbers flow, for old, unhappy, far off sings, and battles long ago. So will no one tell me what she sings? Perhaps the plaintive numbers flow. For old, unhappy, far off things. And battles long ago. Or is it some more humble lay? Familiar matter of today? Some natural sorrow, loss or pain? That has been and may be again. And maybe again. So here it says, will no one tell me what she sings? The poet was passing by a field and stops he stops by because he was attracted or fascinated by a reaper's song. The reaper was solitary, and solitude is something that really impressed these poets. Solitude was something that they really marveled at. They were besotted with it. They were enamored of it. So the solitary reaper was singing, and the poet was attracted, and he was in fact spellbound, couldn't move ahead, was engrossed in listening to the song. But then he says, will no one tell me what she sings? Well, he's been listening to the song, but he didn't understand what she was singing. The simple reason, he was passing through a countryside, and in Scotland. He didn't belong to Scotland, so he didn't know the language of that. He didn't know that regional language. She was singing in that regional language of Scotland, so he didn't understand the theme, the subject matter. He just knew by the music that it was a sad song, a melancholic song. But then he's wondering what she is singing. He's wondering about the real subject. It is sad for sure, but what is the sad subject? So he says, will no one tell me what she sings? Perhaps the plaintive numbers flow for old, unhappy, far off. Plaintive means sad. Then he says, then he makes several guesses. One of the guesses is perhaps the plaintive means sad, melancholic. Sad numbers means again song. Perhaps the sad song is flowing, means she's singing the sad song, mourning old, unhappy, far off things. Maybe something happened with her in the past, or something happened to her country in the past, something unhappy. And the unhappy thing may be, anything, it may be death, it may be a hailstorm in which somebody was killed, anything bad, and anything sad that happened in the past. She may be mourning that. Maybe the death of her grandpa, or grandma, or papa, or mom, or maybe something happened to her country. Maybe her country lost, who knows, in a war. So she may have, he's making a guess, and he says that she may be singing "Oh, old, unhappy, far off things," means things from remote past. And it was sad, it was unhappy. And battles long ago. She may be singing "Oh, battles" also, that in the battle Scotland probably lost. She may be singing the loss of the loss of human life in that battle. It may be anything. The poet is just making a few guesses. Or is it some more humble lay? Lay means song, and humble means ordinary here. So he also says, well, it may be an ordinary song, familiar matter of today, something today, something modern, something contemporary, not from the past, not from the far off past, not from the remote past, but maybe something that we are familiar with, something of the present. So she may be mourning. She may be mourning something sad or something bad or something negative that is going on in the present. It may be some humble lay, some ordinary song about something in the present, something sad or melancholic in the present that everyone is familiar with. Some natural sorrow, it may be some natural sorrow also. Death is a natural sorrow, death is natural, everybody dies. An earthquake is natural, it's from nature. So it may be anything. Loss or pain, some natural loss, loss of some property, loss of a crop, some pain, maybe it is a negative phase of the solitary reaper's life. Maybe she's suffering from some problems. It may be anything that has been and maybe again, or maybe it may be something natural that has been before also, that has been in the past also, and that may be again in the future also. Maybe somebody died in the past, more people will die in the future also. Maybe some natural calamity struck in Scotland in the past, and it will strike in the future also. So it may be something natural also, some natural sorrow, loss or pain also. So the poet is just making a guess, nothing else. Then we'll talk about the next stanza and says, whatever the theme, the maiden sang, as if her song could have no ending. I saw her singing at her work and over the sickle bending. I listened motionless and still, and as I mounted up the hill, the music in my heart I bore. Long after long after it was heard no more. Wonderful song. Whatever the theme, the maiden sang. Whatever the theme, the maiden sang, as if her song could have no ending. I saw her singing at work, and over the sickle bending. Then I listened, motionless and still. And as I mounted up the hill, the music in my heart I bore. Long after it was heard no more. So it says, whatever the theme the maiden sang, after making several guesses, he says, whatever the theme or the song that the maiden, the young girl, was singing, the theme may have been anything, something said from the past or something said from the present. But he said she was singing as if her song could have no ending. She was singing continually, and it seemed that her song would have no ending, it would never end. Well, literally speaking, it will for sure end, but then it would be echoing in the heart of the poet after that also. Literally, of course, it will end, but then it will continue in the heart of the poet. I saw her singing at her work. The poet saw her, and she was singing while working. She was singing while reaping, and over the sickle bending. Sickle is the tool with which to cut the grass, etc. And over the sickle bending. So she was bending over the sickle, working in the field, and singing the marvelous song that fascinated the poet so much. Then the poet says, I listened, I just kept listening. Listen is a stronger word, it's not just hear. Listen means, when you want to do it, do it. When you really want to do it, when you pay attention to something, when you apply your ears to something, when you set your heart to something. So I listened. So the poet listened carefully, motionless. He couldn't move from his place. He was spellbound. He was hypnotized. He was mesmerized by the song. And still again means silent. He was all silent, motionless and silent. For the simple reason he was mesmerized by the song. The song was a marvelous one. It was a wonderful song. It was a gem. And as I mounted up the hill, but the poet then, after all, the poet had to go from there. And when he had mounted up the hill, when he had gone up the hill, left the field and the solitary reaper behind, yet the music in my heart I bore. I carried. Bore means carried. I carried the music in my heart. The poet carried the music in his heart. He loved the song so much that the song kept resounding or echoing in his heart, even after he was gone, long after it was heard no more. Now he could not hear the song any longer because he was up the hill and the solitary reaper was far behind the field, and she may have stopped by now for sure. But the song is still there, resounding and echoing in his heart. He carried the song in his heart, and it still gives him delight, and it will continue giving him delight. So in these lines, these last lines, we see something wonderful, and these last lines remind me of John Keats, who says, "Beauty is truth, truth beauty," and then he also says, "I think our beauty is a joy forever. I think our beauty is a joy forever." So the poet had a wonderful song, and then he carried it in his heart, and the song is giving him delight even after he's left the solitary reaper behind, even when he cannot when he cannot listen to the song, and it will keep giving him delight all his life. So I think of beauty is a joy forever. Here the poem ends. Thank you very much.